Hello. Hey, cool. All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to continue like where I left off yesterday. Building the notification item. Let's see. I change my accounts in Figma first. So anyone in the chat yet? Probably not, I guess. But okay, good. So we have set up like a theme for the app. We have migrated those things, and now we have also implemented a basic card item that we contain. Card. So we have also implemented a notification card. So the issue is probably not an issue. Let's where is. So the thing is, this notification card contains like some of the elements limited, like extend until like other components. Like they basically depend on like other smaller components as well, like for things like these and all of this. In XML, like we used constraint layout, and I'm just thinking like instead of like using columns and rows and like trying to complicate things, can I just go with constraint layout instead? Let's open the project first and see what's happening. So like this is the issue I want to avoid essentially. Like I have bunch of columns and rows like nested deep inside it. So even if I break them out into like really smaller components, it will still not be good. So instead, like I mean like it's not about like whether it is looking good or not. Like it doesn't satisfy like the constraints I am trying to set. So for example, if you look at the XML, like you can clearly say like what is the end constraint for the title, for example. Like the title needs to extend until the click radius of this button, like this icon button. Similarly, like with the timestamp and description has to go until end and all of those things, right? But we cannot do that like with the rows and columns, like if we are trying to like, unless we set like negative offsets and stuff like that, which I don't want to do. So I feel like instead like this will be a good instead like using constraint layout might be a good approach. I don't know. I go ahead and use the constraint layout and try. Okay, let's give this a try. Anyway, like I already have the commit for this, so I don't have to worry about it, I guess. Why did I commit main activity? I don't need main activity. Discard those changes. So anyone who has joined the stream, thank you. If you have any questions or like if you want to learn more about the project or something, feel free to leave a message so that you can respond. Okay, so I can just push this. All right, so now I can peacefully work on the notification card. Like I want to let's take a look at like what the compose constraint layout looks like. Yeah, like I feel like this would make things a little bit easier for me. I can just like copy over like my constraints from the XML and like reuse them in the compose view, right? Yeah, like for a layout like this, like I think like that can work. Although like rows and columns did work to a certain extent, probably like not that configurable, but yeah, like I think like for most use cases like that would be good. Alright, so let's start by creating some refs. Like we're not going to like we are going to keep the card. Oh, wait, I also need to add the dependency, right? First. So what will this be? Constraint. Yeah. I wonder if this is support. Okay, cool. So we have added the dependency. That's one thing done. And now I can just like create a refs. So like there are two ways to kind of like do this. One is like we can just create a ref and like use the modifier.constraint as which allows us to like use the generated reference. Oh yeah, like this is absolutely garbage. Like they're not even using material you like. Yeah, this sucks. Like I wish like the designer I worked with had like more talent to design a material you concept, right? If only. Hey, what's up, Ed? Isn't it too early or like late for you? Cool. So, oh, where was I? Yeah. So another approach we can go is, uh, and this is called like a decoupled approach where uh, we can similarly like we will create a reference, but we will also add a label to it, like essentially like a ID sorts, right? And we can define all of our constraints in a separate function, like wherever we can like it will be like a separate constraint set, like as it says, right? And we just simply have to pass those constraints to our constraint layout. So like that can work. So just give me a second. There is a delay in the chat. Like how do I restart? I think like I have said. Wait, like you are a moderator, right? Oh, I think like I've set like 3 seconds slow mode. Is that all? Turn off slow mode. Can you try it now? Like I have enabled like a 3 second delay in the slow mode chat or something like that. So like it's possible like that is the cause. Is this better now? Cool. I hope like everything is going good. All right, so yeah, like I don't think like we need a decoupled constraint set like here. So I can just like just use create refs and like define like bunch of variables I would use essentially, right? So let's give this a shot. So let's see. Create ref. First, I need to wrap this inside a constraint layout. All right. So now I can define like create ref. So the create ref will allow us to create like a not desugared, but like destructured multiple references, I guess. So like let's see, like I would require like if I look at the designs, I can extract this as a separate component entirely. So that way like I don't have to create individual constraints for this. Similarly, like I can extract the title and subtitle so that I can limit like how many modifiers I'm applying to one single thing and apply all of the stylings in those functions, right? So yeah, I think like that way this will be our info header or something like that, icon button, title, subtitle, and a schedule button. Like that sounds good, right? Is this better now yet? Like I hope like the delay is not that bad with the chat. Cool. So let's see. Info header, pin button, title, subtitle, schedule button. So these will be my references. What's happening here? Create refs, not single ref. Cool. So this should generate like all of the information we need. So let's extract like whatever we have for the items. So this will be our info header. So let's extract this out. So I can limit like whatever information I'm sending here, like app name, string, and what can I do here? Timestamp. Okay. Timestamp string. For now, like I'm just going to keep this simple. And oh wait, app name is already we are getting from localized strings, so we don't particularly have to change that. So another Batman, thanks for following. That's a interesting name. Cool. So we have our info header here, so like that is good. So we can just pass for now, like we can just keep this as 1 hour ago. Like for now we can go with static data. So the reason is like this time is relative to whatever current time we have. I mean like that's the whole point, like that's the point of like compose. Like so I think like a lot of examples don't do it justice because all of the things are like listed in like one single function with a large like a lot of rows, columns, and stuff like that, right? This kind of like makes it easier to kind of break it down into like smaller atomic units as well. So like that's why like I'll really like it when creating design systems, because I can just extract out like smaller details and like smaller elements and then like create larger components at the end. So like this is really nice. I think like, to be honest, like I definitely think like you would enjoy it like once you start like using it more and more. But yeah, takes a while. Oh wait, I forgot to pass the modifier. This will allow us to pass the constraints information. Since I'm not applying any modifier here, I can just simply pass in the modifier directly. So that should be enough. Like this will be our timestamp. Okay, so I can define modifier equal to modifier dot constraint as. Why is this not working? I swear to God, like whenever I say something about like compose being good, like it suddenly stops working. Constraint as. Okay, so info header. This is an experimental API, is it? What do you mean implicit reference? Okay. Yeah, I think like because I placed it inside the column, like it was not able to get the constraints information. So that makes sense. Like they are like essentially like some of these modifiers are scoped to like certain uh, scope, like certain scopes essentially. Like for example, like this is scope to constraint scope, and like similarly like other some of the modifiers like weight or like other things might be scoped to like row scope or column scopes, etc. Things like those. So like definitely something to keep in mind. So let's see what is our constraint here. Um, and like, is this the correct one I need to follow, or like, is there a different layout spec I can use? Like, I cannot find it in the older one, so I was not sure where to look at it, to be honest. Because like here, like this, I don't know. Is it 24 dp? Okay, got it. So we can set the padding as 24 dp, I guess. Modifier padding. Oh no, we should not set it here. Like that will break the icon button padding. So definitely not there. So constraint top dot link to. So I can just define margins. Got it. So this will be 16 dp. Okay. So start dot link to parent dot start margin 24 dp. And for now, like this should be enough. Like this alone will kind of like place the item at the start of the card with 24 dp and all of those stuff, like all of the values, I guess. Will the preview work? Yes, when trying to get specs right from there, I thought you were going to get the layouts from the XML of the current app. Yeah, I'm basically like switching between these two things. So like essentially like I'm still comfortable like trying to get them from Figma, but whenever like I'm getting confused with things like this, I just move back to the layout. Like that's why like I keep switching between those two elements, I guess. Okay, yeah, like The preview is still not working, so like that is perfect. Sometimes I just hate Compose for things like this. Title, this title, content is pinned false, created at instant. So in case you're wondering like how I can just type instant and it will create it, like I have like live templates and like that will allow me to do this. Now I can just run the emulator instead. Like this sucks, but yeah, like at least it works, I guess. By the way, yeah, like this is the layout I've built with Compose yesterday. So cool. All right, so yeah, like yeah, I think like this is working good. So let's see. Let's go back to setting up like other elements. Now I have info header. Like now I can focus on pin button. 64 by 64 animated icon. Okay. Let me just send a message and like get back. Cool. So let's see. I can define another composable called we can just call it pin button, right? So this will essentially be like our pin button, like that will animate whenever we click on it and like trigger the pin status essentially. So for that I can just this should be straightforward, I think. Oh yeah, I need to add a animated vector drawable support. Animation graphics, right? Yeah. So in case you are wondering like how this will work, like do I have my tweetbot? Where is this? Yeah. So essentially like this is how like the animated vector drawables in Compose work. So I can just like load the existing vector resources like using animated image vector. But the only change is like now I can just drive it from a mutable state. Like I define at end, and that will tell the remember animated vector painter like what state you would want to render for the animated vector drawable. Like is it at the start or is it at the end? Because usually for like the animated vector drawables, like there will be two separate states, right? Like at the beginning, at the end, and that will allow us to define that. So yeah, like I think like that can work. So we will go with that. Cool. So let's see. Uh, pin. Let's call it pin icon button. And we can define it is going to be a simple box. Like the standard icon button won't work because like I require like it to be a 64 by 64 dp and I want to animate it as well, right? So I don't think like that will work necessarily. I can do, you know what, like let me just try it out. Icon button on click, right? On click, and I can just define this here. It should not be null. Like we need a click listener for this, right? So okay, so now let me set this size to 64 dp. So I can just like use modifier.size and it will set the size for me, so I don't have to change a lot of things. And so here like I want the size to be set first and then like apply any other modifications that uses like that I might be setting in future, right? So like I mean for this like it doesn't matter because like it's not a again generalized API, so I can just define like whatever works in my context like for my app. But yeah, like obviously like the position at which you are defining modifier changes like the way it is rendered in the screen as well. So I would suggest like taking a look at it once. Like I remember like there is a website to play around, but I don't have it on top of my head currently. So yeah, cool. So now I have an icon button. Now I can just define icon, right? So it will take a painter and a content description. So let's load our animated pin vector drawable and animated image drawable dot create from this. Wait, haven't added the dependency, right? So let's add the dependency. So I can just add first. Let's commit this. Add Constraint Layout compose dependency, and then we can add the animated graphics. So this will enable us to use animated vector drawables in our code. So let's do that. Is this spacing correct? I feel like that spacing is wrong. I can take a look at it, I guess. So animated add compose animation graphics dependency. Okay, cool. So I think like we have everything we require. So now I can just do animated image vector dot resource. Yeah, r dot drawable dot pin. What is it called? AVD pin to pin. Yeah. So this is again like this is all experimental APIs. So I would not suggest using this in the production code. But yeah, like it works for now. Unfortunately, like I can use it. Like this is a side project, so what else? Like I need to define at end state. At end by remember. So this remember allows us to like remember every time we compose, like so we don't have to. It won't change back to false every time like this function is triggered with if the state isn't changing, right? Import good at end. So we have animated our vector drawable, we have the state, and now I can define animated vector remember one painter. Yeah, so vector drawable here and at end. Content description for this is null. For now, like ideally like I would like to have like accessibility, like at least the what do you call talkback accessibility set up for this. But for now I'm just going to focus on like, do I even have, wait, let me just check if I have accessibility items set up for this, if I can just copy over. Nope. So for now like I'm just going to ignore that, unfortunately. So I would need to change attend equal to toggle attend. Okay, and then call onClick.invoke. So whenever the button is clicked, I will change the internal state of this button. So this button composable essentially like becomes like a in Flutter terms, what is it called? Stateful widget? Yeah, like it's a stateful composes view, I guess. So this looks good, right? Am I forgetting anything else? I think like this is looking good. So I can now define this. Okay, so let's define this. What is it? Pin icon button, and I can just define modifier equal to and set up all the constraints. Constraint as pin button, right? So this should be interesting. I need this to be aligned to end dot link to parent dot end, right? No margin, like I don't need any margin for this. And also like top dot link to parent dot top, again no margin. And now I can define end dot link to pin button dot start, and I don't need any margin here again. So what essentially we are saying is set up a pin button at the end, right? And then like create this info header, but constrain this to start off like this thing. So it can only go until like here. Ideally like it won't go, but we are just constraining it, that's all. So what happens? Can I even define alignment? Is there a thing to define alignment here? I don't think so, but let's run this and see like how this looks and click on that button. So yeah, I think like that this should work. I hope so. Okay, so oh wow, okay, it is working, so that is good. But obviously like the theming elements are not showing up, and like this is not how it's supposed to work. Chain, I think like it is the chain that is causing. So if I set the chain to start, like I think like that can resolve it. I probably also need to apply a tint to the icon button itself. Okay, let's apply tint first. Where should I do this? Here. I have my theme, pinit theme dot colors dot secondary. This is secondary, right? Yeah, secondary. Cool. So if I do this, okay, so like it is showing that color, and also like it's animating whenever I'm clicking. That is good. Now all I need to figure out is why the hell this chain is broken. Usually like I can just set this, probably not chain weight, not this. How do I align items in Constraint Layout? I forgot. I know I can just set weight, but for some reason like this does not seems to be working. here they are using guidelines, which to be honest, like I can get that, but I think I can use guidelines in Compose as well. But I'm already using them in the XML version. Mm, what other options I have? Absolute right. Not that. Like that will get like the right. Like it won't respect like the left to right languages and stuff like that, I guess. So wow, there are a bunch of things. What if I set 1f instead? This is just a float value, right? Whether width is not fixed, the weight may... Wait, is the width fixed for this? So if I set dimension dot match parent, I don't need to set this, right? Yep, cool, perfect. So like that sets the info header, and we will also get the click button. So I can say to do and like leave it like that. Okay, so now I can extract out the title and stuff like that. Wait, why did I remove? I can just copy out from this, right? Where is the title? Yeah, so like this I can extract out as title item. Notification title, and again passing in the modifier here. So this is pretty straightforward, like to be honest. Yeah, like we'll just get a title string that we can pass in to this composable, right? And just take in the title, and the style is subtitle 1 and color is on background. We have already defined them in our themes, so cool. So we can start defining it here, right? Notification title. This is a title. Okay. Now I can again constraint. Like let's go with constraints, seeing how this works. Constraint as title. Okay, here we can start passing all of our hey old good gamer, how's it going? Cool. So let's see. This is, we are setting the title. Where is our list item? Okay, so our constraint like is still not changed on the start side, right? I mean, like if I have gone with guidelines, I think like I feel like it would have been easier, but maybe in future, I guess. For now, like I can manually set the constraints. Yeah, it's going good. Parent dot start margin 24.3p. Yeah, like I haven't gotten a chance to look at it yet, but yeah, like I'll get back to the messages. Like if you have like any questions regarding like anything like I'm talking about, like you can leave a message here and I can talk to you. But yeah, like ideally like I not go over like my Twitter message requests that much. So yeah. So now here is the interesting thing. I would want my notification title to be able to constraint to start of this button. So essentially, like I don't want this to go beyond this button, right? Because if you have a long title, like it will extend like into the click radius of this button, right? So I would want to avoid that. It's something different. It's more private. Okay, yeah, like I think I can get back to you at some point, but yeah, like end dot link to. I will take a look at it like probably at the end of today, and see like if this is something I can respond back. So I can set the width to dimension dot match parent. Okay, so now like it will draw like a title like from here to the button. At least the background is like even if the text extends, it will wrap to another line, right? So did I set like any max lines for this in my XML? I did not. Okay, cool, that is good. So we don't have to worry about that. So we can pass the modifier here, right? So if we run this now, this should set up title. I was like I don't think like there is a, well, I have used iOS development before, but like I don't think like there is a easy way to learn either of those things. I mean, like if you're planning to build like really good apps, like it would take like couple of years to get good at like anything, in fact. So, but yeah, like if you're trying to look at like some of these basic things, like for example like the docs and stuff like that for Android, I think I would suggest like that's a good place to kind of start with, like build your first app and stuff like that. I remember like Android Dev has posted something related to where is this? Yeah, so they have posted a new kit or code lab for creating like Android apps with Compose, I guess, new course essentially. So like you can also like take a look at this if you're interested, I guess. But yeah, like this can be a good place to start like learning Android developments and stuff like that. And also like yeah, like there are other things like Ray Lake and other online resources. So I would also suggest taking a look at this. So yeah, like I think like I know like what the issue is here. Like it is essentially like we haven't set the top constraint, right? Like so it is drawing at the start, like at the 0 axis, like as with any Android canvas. So we would want to set that link to what the info header dot bottom, and margin is 12 dp. Is it 12 dp or 8 dp? It says 8 dp here, so I'm just going to go with 8 dp. I feel like if I have used guidelines, this would have been much more easier. I could have mapped it one-to-one with my XML layouts. Oh well. Nothing I can do now. Like I don't want to go over and change everything again. So now I can just implement the content. Notification content, and I can say modifier. So let's see. We have our modifier and we passed this, and we need the content, and this content can be nullable. You know what, like let's not make this nullable. If the content is null or blank, we can just simply hide this content view, right? So like we can go with that. Notification content, and this is a content. Modifier.constraint as. Wait, what is the subtitle? Let's rename this to content. And then I can start defining the constraints. So this should be mostly similar to like what we have here. You know what? Instead of doing this, why don't we use infoheader.start? That way we don't have to define the start margin for every single thing. So we have defined it for info header and we are constraining it everything to info header start. Here we can just say title.bottom margin. I don't think there is any margin for this. We can let the line heights take care of this, I guess. And that broke it completely. What the hell happened? I have applied the margin to the info header, right? Yeah, I did. Interesting. Looks like these margins only apply for like that particular component and not carry over. Cool. That is an interesting finding, I guess. So let's revert this back and say parent.start and yeah, title.bottom. The content is still not properly aligned for some reason. What's happening? What did I do wrong? Did I do anything wrong? I have used the content. Okay, that is correct. What if I do this instead? What is this called? Content.top, right? This should create a chain. Okay, like this is weird. Why is this not working? What am I doing wrong? Or oh wow, like this is dumb. I haven't passed the modifier at all here. That means like this could have even worked, right? Infoheader.start. So essentially like I'm stupid, not the like the compose library. So cool. Mad Blue X8, thanks for following. I hope like you enjoy your stay. Oh, looks like I'm not completely wrong. It is still not getting those margins. Cool. So like that is perfectly aligned. So like that is good. Let me, you know what? Like let me make a small change. Let me see what happens if I offset it by 4 dp. So the reason is I am offsetting this content here. Like where is this? Where am I doing that? Oh no, like I'm pushing this down like by 4 sp So instead, like what happens if I do this offset to top? Will this make any change? I'm just curious to see like what happens. Okay, it cuts things, so definitely probably not that. Can I do negative? Okay, so like it seems to be slightly pushed up like as expected. Hmm. Okay, the spacing between these two things seem really high. I know like probably like I've applied like this, right? I can remove this. Korea. Okay. So okay, yeah, like I think like this is that Adobe XD? No, like this is Figma. So yeah. Cool. So yeah, I think like we have implemented most of the things that are present here. So let me just copy over like lorem ipsum just to be safe that like it is working. So ipsum, it is loaded. Okay. So let's see. I'm in the stream. I'm sorry, like what stream? Is that Adobe? I don't understand like what stream you are talking about. Oh yeah, like to be honest, yeah, like I don't know what that plugin is for like Figma. I'm trying to place this in the Android Studio, so like that's why I was generating it here. Okay, so like it is going over. Oh yeah, like I also need to add this to n dot pin button dot start. Wait, interesting. It's supposed to break here, but it is not. Parent dot and margin 24 dp. What happens if I do ipsum here? Okay, here like it is working correctly, but not here. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think like this is looking good. So the animated icon is working, the title is working, content is properly spaced. I could have probably gone with guidelines, but yeah, like future improvement. So now like the final thing to add is the schedule button. So essentially like schedule button like is a row that we are going to implement. Schedule date, local date. Let me paste this and see what information I need here. Well, I have to work with every device anyway. So like essentially like if you look at like all of these DPs that I'm placing after every number, like whenever I want to place margins or like sizes and stuff like that, those are like what we call as like display independent pixels. So you can take a look at this Android display independent pixel. So that would explain like how this entire thing works. Oh wow, like so many imports. Okay, so I think like I have everything, right? So this would require, we need to show, how are we showing it in the adapter currently? So schedule, hmm. I feel like I would require a, I need to extract this out as a format or something like that. So yeah, like it just requires a it just requires some practice, like that's all. Like getting started with with these things is at least like right now it's really easy. Like we have like a lot of resources online and like lot of content available. Like it just it's kind of like easy to do that, but yeah, like definitely requires like a lot of practice. So I can just set it as text here. Ooh, I forgot to do this. Like if there is uh, if there is no content, we would want to hide it. Notification dot content dot get, so that we can just like not use if else, I guess. Probably not content, but where can I do this? Okay, so now what happened? Oh wait, notification is already a safe call, so I don't need to apply it there. Cool. So let's. So this will hide our notification content if there is no content, like for example, content is empty or blank or something like that. In fact, like I don't think it will do this if it is blank. So we have to go with good old this notification dot content is null or blank dot not. And double bang. Oh wait, it can save cache, so that is good. So we have our notification content as well. Hmm. Which server you use, for example, if it's a video content app and it is. To be honest, yeah, like I'm not sure about that. Like I cannot recommend like anything because like those vary by price and yeah, like there are like Amazon Web Servers and Google Cloud and even like to get started with like Firebase even. But yeah, like I am not sure. Like I'm not that familiar with that topic, so yeah, like I don't know. You would have to research to be honest, but yeah, or like talk to someone who is more knowledgeable about this thing. Schedule is not equal to null, then schedule button. So here we can just say today 9 p.m. right? So let's apply our modifier again. Not like I'm starting to like this compose way of doing constraint layouts. Definitely nice. It makes it much more easier to do declarative kind of like programming, when to show like views, when to not show it, things like that. Top dot link to what should I link to? Can I create groups? Constraint layout compose group. I wonder like if I have to go with decoupled approach, have constraint set defined and all of those. I think like it's close to like 7 or 8 years, I guess. Yeah, probably like that or like a little bit more than that. So for now, like I can just go with bottom and margin DP. What is this? I can just select this, right? 16 dp. Cool. So start to link to parent dot start margin 24.dp end dot link to parent dot end margin 24.dp. And yeah, I think like we can wrap this up here, parent dot bottom, and this will be 24 dp again. So if this is gone, what will be the bottom padding? Let's see. Let's link this to bottom dot link to schedule button dot top, and this can be linked to bottom dot link to content dot top. Okay, let's see how this goes. For debugging purposes, I will set the color to magenta. Good old magenta for debugging purposes. Cool, schedule button is not showing up. Why is this not showing up? It is not rendering them. On click. Okay, so why is this not showing here? We have the content. I started making web design in the past using Artistic and exporting it to WordPress. Nice. That's cool. Yeah, like I'm currently just using like the Ghost block to kind of like do web related stuff, I guess. But yeah. Oh wait, schedule is schedule empty? Yeah, probably like that explain this. If there is no content, gone marching 24.dp. I think like that's why guidelines made more sense for me, because I don't have to define these multiple gone margins everywhere. This sucks. Everything is a pain. Schedule date, local date, schedule time, local time. And schedule type is schedule type topic. It doesn't matter, like we're not rendering any of that content. So for now we are just using placeholders. Okay, at least the button shows up. The margin seems to be correct. Okay, so constraint with equal to dimension dot match parent. horizontal arrangement dot start. I don't think like that's the issue. Yeah, like that's not the issue definitely. Is it the weight? Horizontal chain weight 0.0f. So we are essentially telling it to like have no weight for the chains, like constraint chain. Interesting. Why aren't you working? Color dot green. Yeah. Let's just place debug colors to verify if something doesn't work. Like that's the only thing I can do, I guess. Okay, yeah, like the button event is this is really annoying me. Okay, I think like I can understand like what the issue is. If I wrap this in a box, like this will work. Because in the row, like I'm wrapping the content with. So like it is overriding like whatever constraint I'm setting. And that makes sense. Okay. I think like that is looking good, right? So if I remove the if I hide the schedule, right? Like that is not showing the bottom margin. Like that's the biggest concern for me. Yeah, like see like here like it is not setting that bottom margin. Wait, instead of setting the gone margin here, what if I set it here? Gone margin 24.dp. So if schedule button is not present, then it will set a gone margin to the top, right? Like that's how it's supposed to work? No? Nope. That is not how it's supposed to work apparently. It's probably because like I'm not even plan. Why is constraint layout gone margin not working? What am I doing wrong? So in the XML, like I can just define guidelines, like I used guidelines, right? That makes sense, right? Because like I have these bottom guidelines and stuff like that. Those kind of like set this barrier, like essentially like a guideline, like saying like the content will be in this particular box. Like if you hover over it, like you can see like there is a 24 dp start, 24 dp bottom, 24 dp, 16 dp or whatever it is at the top, and 24 dp at the end. So there is not like we are essentially just saying like only draw content inside that. That's it. So yeah, like that is definitely like a not a good thing, obviously. So for now, what can I do? I can technically Looks like I cannot skip it from here. Cool. I can start adding guidelines and decouple this, but is there a way I can do this? Let's look at what constraint layout gone margin means. For my understanding, like I can just like set it whenever visibility is changed to gone, right? But if I'm not drawing that, it won't get affected at all. That's my understanding of it. Layout gone margin bottom. Yeah, like that's how they are defining it, and that's how I'm setting it as well. Okay. So what can I do here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think like there is any other way around it. Um, the only other way I can think about is like I can just define an else condition with that, but that is not great. Like I'm unnecessarily defining like other things, right? Let me try this out once. Like let me see what happens if I test. Let's call it test, I guess. What happens if I define constraints set, right? Can I define guidelines? Create guideline from start, from bottom. Hmm. Okay. So yeah, like maybe. Wait, can I just do this here as well? Okay, yeah, like I can. Oh, I can do this. Okay, start guideline equal to create start guideline from start with 24 dp end guideline. Create guideline from end 24.dp bottom guideline. Create guideline from bottom 24.dp, and we just need top here, right? Cool. So looks like I don't have to change much of the things. So if I define this, so now I'm essentially setting all of these things to only draw in that area. So now I can just change this info header to I can even define margin, right? So remove margin. So I can just say top guideline dot what top guideline, that's it. Hmm. Link to top guideline dot ah. Something tells me like it's not the way it's supposed to work. Let's give this a shot and see like how this works, I guess. It is taking that, so I hope like that's how it's supposed to work. Start guideline. Where is the end guideline? So this is correct. This is correct. Yeah. Okay, let's run this and see like how this looks. So I am guessing like this should work like the guidelines, because like it takes in like the anchors and stuff like that, and it doesn't. So like that is dumb. Why is it not working? So like this link to takes in an anchor, and that's what we are defining. Okay, so like, is there any other way to like do this? So like, if I don't use guidelines, like everything is working correctly. Right? Yep. Constraint layout compose guidelines. Like it, for some reason I cannot call like similar methods like I'm using in the XML version. So did something change? Like it is setting that. So like why? I have defined that, right? So like it should work. Like that is what I've said. So oh wait. What if it is fill to constraints instead? Right? That makes sense. So now I can just say top guideline and just here say start guideline, and I can remove margins. So if I run this, cool. So like that is working. So like that's like I think like the dimension aspect of it is wrong. So filter constraints here, and here I can just set to guidelines. Start guideline. This is correct. Bottom like this is correct. Cool. Okay. I need to change this, right? And guideline, margin, remove margin. So now our guidelines should take care of all of our margins and stuff like that. Okay, so like this should work. Probably one small change I would make is instead of like doing this, right, I can go conditional value, I guess. So for example, I can say well, bottom constraint equal to if notification dot schedule is not equal to null. If there is a schedule, then get schedule button dot top. Right? If there is no schedule, then get bottom guideline instead. Right? So if I do this, then if there is no schedule, it should start showing 24 dp padding at the bottom. Yes, cool. I think like that is working as expected. Perfect. So again, like similarly, like here also, like that would require well bottom constraint, and if notification dot schedule is not equal to null, oh sorry, if notification dot content do I need it here? Let's see what happens if I don't set that at all. Or also like let's see what happens if I set multiple of this. Content top, right? So we can set bottom guideline instead. Right, so if we do that, so like this is getting affected because it is taking whatever is the last one. Like that makes sense. So that is correct. So if I remove content from here, where is the content? So if I remove content from here, that should affect. Yeah, like it is not working well. But if there is no content and if there is a schedule instead, right? So let's see what happens. I feel like I would end up like with this if else, sorry, a when condition or something like that. I think here I am just using visibility. Okay, we are setting the visibility. If there is no visibility here, am I using gone margin somewhere? Am I using gone margin somewhere? No. Okay, yeah, like I'm not using gone margin anywhere. So that is definitely not what I want to do. Oh shit, like this thing is completely broken now. What if I come with bottom approach here instead? I've already set the bottom, right? So instead of parent bottom, what if I set bottom guideline? No, that makes it even more broken. That is because there is no content at all, I think. Like that is the issue here. Wait. Interesting. Instead of like doing this, I can just like use this. That is an interesting thing. So I can just set visibility if notification dot schedule is not equal to null. So if it is not equal to null, I would want the visibility to be set. Visibility equal to visibility dot gone, else, sorry, I think like this will be gone, else it is visible, right? Similarly, I can set the visibility here as well. So if notification dot content is null or blank, I mean if it is not null or blank, then set visibility visible, else visibility dot gone. Okay, I think like that is a start. I have to remove these margins. If there is only title, even then like it is 16 dp. So I can set the gone margin here to 16 dp, right? Awesome. Okay, cool. I think like that is working. So like there is 16 dp padding and like everything seems to be perfectly aligned. Now let's add content as well. Uh, Let me make sure I'm not pasting anything sensitive information. I guess so I have to keep clearing it. Cool. Yeah, I think like this is good. So let's turn off the our debug colors from here. Color dot. Cool. So yeah, like I think like this kind of like satisfy like whatever we have here, right? Yeah. It is pretty accurate, I would say. What if I switch to dark mode? Will this work? It is. So yeah, I think like we can wrap it here. In the next stream, I'm going to work on like the animation aspect of it. So we have an animation in the app, like when we click on this button, along with the animated vector drawable, it will also kind of like expand a color and like switch to a pinned state. So like it will circular reveal this color. So I will work on this like in the next stream, I guess. So cool. All right. Thanks to everyone for joining the stream and see you folks later. And yeah, like I don't have a schedule currently, but I will try to stream it as much as possible. Just you can follow and like subscribe for the not subscribe, but like turn on that notifications, I guess. But yeah, see you folks later. Bye bye.